So Lineout, about 40 minutes ago, I started to look for a presentation. I thought I had on this and I didn't have one. I'm just going to be honest. So I thought about it. I gave Teeps a ring, gave Dan a ring, and pretty much I think those, if we can answer those 4 questions up there, those are the main points anyway, to be honest. So for a start, what options do we have in terms of where we stand at a line-out? Just have a quick chat to the person next to you. What positions do you use? What positions do we have as options? And then we'll quickly chuck them up. I'll just start writing as I hear.
So line-out.
Alrighty, pretty sure I've heard you guys starting to dive a little bit combo-wise. Heard pretty quickly within the first couple of seconds, front, back. Where at the front would you stand? Someone who said front. So front is obviously the front of the line-out, but where at the front? Next to the hooker? Anyone else stand anywhere else apart from next to the hooker?
I personally do, but when I'm standing in the front, I like to be able to see the throw.
Like, so you go behind him, or
Just behind his.
so say that's the hooker there. You sort of stand here.
Yep.
Sweet. Anyone got anywhere else at the front that they stand? I've just started standing. Say that's the hooker here, the front of the line out. I sort of sometimes will be standing at that 2 and 2 almost, where opposite the defensive halfback. It's just somewhere I've started trialling as well. At the front, I did used to stand right beside the hooker, but I found when I stood beside him, I was missing whether he was walking or not. I found if I stood here, I had more of that peripheral, I guess, of both. I could start there, but still almost focusing there. I think it's just personal preference, really, what you're looking for. At the back, where do you stand at the back, someone?
Because I'm short, I just stand in the middle.
So right in the middle, like on the 15, 2 metres back?
No, 2 metres back from the 15.
A couple metres back from the 15 in the middle of the line out?
Yep.
Sweet. Anyone got anywhere else? Yeah, fair.
I'd say not actually often, because if you get the ball thrown to the middle and the back guys think it's coming their way and they jump, you can see bugger all about what's happening, who's putting who down or interfering in the line.
So you're talking about standing at the back in general, or standing in the middle at the back?
Standing in the middle at the back.
Okay, so where
I
would...
prefer to stand slightly at the angle, just like you said, at the front of the line out.
So if you're at the back, you'll be standing off the middle, sort of looking on the angle? Yeah, okay. Yep.
And at your guys level, most super AIs will be saying not straight.
Yep. Anyone got anything else where they might stand at the back?
Same intention.
I don't know, I don't feel comfortable at the back at the moment, so I prefer to stand at the front and just, I suppose, back my fitness and speed to be able to be in the right position at the right time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're 0 to 100k in 2.5 seconds. You haven't said that.
Not as fast as Vito though.
Cara and I were just discussing, like, depends what kind of line out you're getting. If you're getting a team that can't throw the ball and it's only just going the 2 all day, then at the front's probably good.
Yeah.
But if it's going between front and back, then you're more likely to sort of go to the back, but start at the front to set it up.
Cool. So that's sort of moving on to question 2.
Would it matter for like numbers? I don't know. You guys have been in a couple. Does that matter to you guys? If you know they're doing a short one, I don't know.
If it was short, me personally, I would always be at the back, unless it's the first line out of the day and it's a short. I'd still be at the front, but I'd always be at the back if it was a short line out. There's less numbers, and it's more likely going to be a quick ball going wide. That's me. I don't know what you guys think.
Rio, can we, while we're on each question, can we, I know we talk a lot about having our ARs there as well,
Yep.
but that's only 5 games out of all the games we do on a weekend. So at each question, can we drop down and where would you stand at a F grade game? You know, things like that.
Yeah,
Because
good point.
some of the guys are doing senior, even premier, come and jump into those lower grades. So not so much where do we stand, but why would we stand there compared to standing at somewhere at a Colts game or standing somewhere at a senior game. So, you know, let's think about the whole picture of who we referee.
Alright,
Okay.
we'll bring it into here, so we'll go junior grades. Alright, so think about those 4, or we'll just do one at a time actually, so briefly covered it I guess. Where would you stand for the first line out and why? Teeps, you already sort of talked about it a little bit.
In the junior grade?
No, so we'll cover that down the bottom. So first line out for Prem.
Right. So I'd stand at the front probably, for me it's around the first 2 lineouts if I can. But definitely the first one because that's where you've got the most presence in terms of them looking at you. If you're at the back they're not looking at you at all. So you've got some presence at the front and you can set up the space. So if you want a good gap then you get that first gap on that first one. There you can stop, hey, move across, they're looking right at you and hopefully that's set up well. And then you can see what's going on from there. And if it's good at the next one, then you can sort of decide whether you're going to the front or the back. But it's very hard to set anything up well if you're at the back. You have to end up blowing your whistle, stopping, they'll all turn around, then look at you, and then you tell them to move apart. It's just a bit, there's no presence at the back really. So that's why the front would be the best to start with.
Agreed. I think that was something, I don't know if everyone was told that, but I mean when I first started reffing out I was pretty much told first line out of the day, go to the front, set your presence, get there. And yeah, Teeps is right, it's all about just being that presence, the players can see you're there to manage it if there is an issue straight away. Getting that first line out done properly is pretty key to set the tone for the rest of the game.
And I like to, like at the first bit of the second half, like the first line out then as well, because you may have some reserves come on or something like that.
Yep.
So
That's good.
reset the standards and
Yeah.
just remind them.
Can we have any control on line out before the game starts?
Yes.
How, Stu?
Pretty much.
So what would you say to have control or have some control over lineouts before the game in your pre-match?
Identifying who's going to be the front. And with the line-up most of the time, and speak to them and just tell them your expectation that okay, you want the gap, pause on them, and if they close it, then these are the consequences.
So you're putting that responsibility onto that player to get his team right?
That responsibility with the pressure as well, you know, like taking not my responsibility, it's all yours, you know, and if you don't deal with it, these are the consequences.
Yeah. So you go over the consequences?
Oh, like just, you know, close it, deal with it. Sweet. Keep open.
Ben and John came along with me on the weekend and they were just listening to see what I say, and one thing I do say is I always ask after the scrum chat, who's at the front of the line out on defence? They go, oh, yep, me. I go, sweet, I'll come up, line out time, I'll set the middle, and on defence I'll give you a mark to line up on. On attack you can stand where you like within reason. Defence I'll give you a mark. They're always happy enough with that. On attack, it's amazing. Quite often they make it a small gap, I don't know why, but that's up to them. If they want to have a small gap, that's up to them. If they want a big gap, that's up to them. But on defence, I think as long as you set that half metre from the middle for the defensive team, it's up to the attack to decide how big a gap I've got.
So why don't you see that for both of them?
I did start doing that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just thought, what's the point? If attack wants a smaller gap, that's up to them. I've given them the defensive has made them move. It's up to the attack to go where they like. I did start doing it, so I'd come up, I'd go, here's the middle, here's your mark, and I thought, fuck, this just looks dumb. I need to just set defence, because they're the ones that are going to be the ones pushing to the middle, or should be the ones pushing to the middle if anyone wants to make the gap smaller. So I said, here's the middle, there's you, they can sort themselves. Realistically, they shouldn't want to have a small gap, so they should be making it a decent gap. You'd be surprised though.
I know for a lot of the props when they arrive now, they make their own mark anyway.
See, I'll try and get there before they get there.
Yeah, they try and
I set the middle, boom, there you. Tips?
I sort of do, but it's pretty much the opposite to you, and kind of, it's just the same thing really, but I say to the attacking team on your ball, make sure that you've got a good gap. So that they go, oh yeah, cool, we want a big gap. And then they set a big gap, and then the hooker just kind of normally just goes like this. And just, they end up in a nice straight line anyway, and it's just off the mark, but it's whatever you can do really to get your,
It doesn't really matter who does
at
it.
the end of the day.
To make a mark, when you walk away, as long as there's a gap, you get the gap and I just off it. Doesn't matter if the hooker moves, as long as you get that gap.
The better the gap is, the less issues you're going to have as a ref. Fair line out.
So if you get that first line out right, the first couple, and your space is good, guarantee you for 80 minutes you won't have an issue at line outs with someone pulling someone down or something like that, unless they're an idiot.
And it'll be clear if it happens, you'll see it.
Yes.
Majority of lineouts. For me, I stand at the back, so I'll probably only do 2, maybe 3 lineouts at the front. First one of each half, and maybe one other just to mix it up a bit. I like the back personally. Dan likes the front personally. I think it is a bit of a personal preference. I normally stand at the back, just off centre, so I'm on that slight angle. I can see. You can still see the not straights, or I believe I can still see the not straights relatively clearly. And the bodies, like Barry was saying, aren't in the way. If they jump at 2 or 4, and you can't see what's going on in front if you're at that slight angle, I believe it's not a bad spot to stand.
Just a question, Redo. If the team's only throwing to 2, 3, and maybe 4, because of the conditions, or that's just all their hooker can throw to. A lot of the Premier teams are like that as well. Do you still stay at the back?
If I've got issues and I know that it's a pissing down with rain and they're chucking to 2 all day, then I'll come to the front more. But generally, if it's fine weather and I'm not having any issues, then I'll stay at the back. If I'm starting to have issues, then I'll probably come to the front to sort it out.
So it's mainly about
reacting to the game as well.
Reacting to what's happening in front of you, finding a space that's comfortable, and owning that space. And if you've got issues, you have to come to the front if you prefer to do the back.
Especially if if a team's doing a lot of those throws to the front prop, and you're curious as to whether it's going 5 metres or not, then you're going to need to come to the front to have a look at those ones. Because some teams do that quite a lot, some don't. But it's very hard to tell whether that's gone 5 or not if you're standing at the back and you don't have an AR who's looking for it.
Do you stand on the attacking or the defensive side at the lineouts at the front and the back?
Yeah, so...
Can you draw it on that board, Redo?
Can you all see that?
Yep.
I just thought the whiteboard might be easier.
Can you give us like options where you like your bailout options and things like that?
I might ask you for yours, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's say this team here's attacking this way. They've got the ball. I would stand about there. Sometimes I am probably a bit flatter, almost in there, but most of the time I believe I'm probably in there, just outside their line, so I can see down it.
So when do you start moving?
So it depends a lot on where it's come. If it's up at here, he's won it, I'm going to probably come back into this space here, just come out of the way. If it's contest, halfback gone, I'm just going to probably roll and go with it like that.
I'll put a question to everyone else. If Rito's starting there, if he starts there and they go OT and the 9 attacks that space where Rito is, where's your best option for bailout there?
So overthrow, balls ended up around here.
So for Rito in that position there, where do you think his best bailout position is? Because who would stand there in a line out? Just chuck your hand up.
Different.
Sweet, so you guys that put your hand up, where would you bail out from there if play was if play was coming your way?
So from the half back to the second five.
I'm very close to the lineup.
Yeah.
Go close to the line out?
Yeah.
Sweet. So just
Just
tuck.
fold in. Generally the
So you go
players that come around.
move back in.
I try not to move much. Like
And
where
where Stu's pointing now?
no.
Which
Like,
way?
I might bail out probably to the 15 metre line.
So what you mean in here?
Yeah, no, probably more sort of like pivoting back into the middle of the line out, but just staying there.
So you'd be more.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then just the thing is, just don't move too much. I think if you move too much, you keep yourself wide open for being more likely to be hit.
Yeah, exactly.
See, for me, I would probably just back into here. Because these players are going to be coming for it. These guys are coming for it. That 9's probably going to be coming for it here as well. I feel like probably just backing up into there. It's probably not a bad spot.
Another option would be just to carry in that, you know, with a 22 on the 15, and that space in there, because that's open pasture. There's no way the attacks, if they get through there, you're
If I was standing here, I'd be more likely to go to there probably, but I think from here, I don't know if I'd probably get in that guy's way, because he'd be chasing that overthrow if I went into that space.
What would be wrong going midfield? Just moving back in the midfield? Because I mean, you just go straight into your flat attack. There's no players are gonna. It's all because all the players
just come straight back here.
So if it's overthrown to here, and you just I tend to stand direct in the middle. But what's wrong with just moving in there? All the players are going to submerge to this area anyway. And if you just move out, then you're straight away into your flat attack, and you're doing nothing. And you deal with it. Rather than if you're having to go that far, you're then behind the game line potentially, and you're still going to get back into a position to.
Only thing I've found if you do that though, and then he offloads, you're right in his.
What do you mean? So the ball's overthrown.
Yeah,
to
Offload to a guy running.
If it comes off the top of the 9, he's going through there.
Okay, so it's not overthrown?
No.
Okay, so I'm saying if it's overthrown, I'd go and then they all, submerge into here, I'd move out. But if it's off the top, then
You
it's
seem
different.
to just be running away
Yeah.
from it all the time. Coming back, it's just.
Would you be moving when the throw's thrown though from that? So I think that's...
You can read it when you think, shit, that's going to be overthrown, you move before that ball gets to you. Definitely.
But even generally, will you be moving into more, once the throw's thrown, into that space more centre of the line out anyway? You won't be staying there, would you?
Catch it.
I just feel that if you stay there, you're just at so much risk of all sorts. That's a tough one if he does actually pass it. If you kind of transition here when it's been thrown, or sort of been thrown, and then it's coming off the top even, then you're now able to go there, and if this guy passes it here, you're well out of the way. And if he still goes here, you're not in that channel.
So where would you go, Teets, on that? Sorry?
I don't personally go there, I stand in the middle. That's only because I was out there with the Magpies and Brad Weber just threw it straight at me. But that's a different level. All the other levels, it's all good. They're not going to hit a nice, perfect bullet to second 5. But so I stand here just so I go where Dan was talking about before and transition into there pretty much every time because there's no one there. Like there's no one you can hit, and this guy can sprint off and hit the 10. And if he hits it flat, you're just there, and then you can just wherever he gets hit. But I think you probably naturally start here, Rito, and then when the ball's top thrown, you would end up here rather than staying here. Otherwise, you probably would have been hit by now, I reckon.
I actually don't know.
I reckon Reno goes like this.
You do stuff so naturally and automatically, sometimes you don't even think.
I reckon when the ball's tossed, you're going like this, and you get out of the way naturally. But you don't want to end up there. Like, don't stay there. Because you've got that pass, it's just risky, and then this guy's coming in front of you, and so are these guys, eh? So if you start there, don't stay there. That's probably the...
The key perhaps is the space that you need as a referee to see what's going on. And no matter which way you go, if the ball's going to be thrown high, you know it's going to go basically on the 15, you get out of that way because it's going to be that contact. If it's going to be short and it goes up and it's taken inside the line out, you either pivot back so that you can actually follow it through for the drive. But the key is just to give yourself space. The last thing you want to do is be hit by players coming on and running straight at you.
What percentage of the modern game, they're coming off that top, 80% just straight off the top and out, aren't they? Doesn't get not many clean takes and holes nowadays.
It depends on the team. So some teams they back their drive and you know those teams, especially if they might be within 10 metres of the line. You go, fuck, I know these guys are going to drive. And as a ref, I quite often will say to the AR, can you just watch the setup at the front? And that's something I always say. If I'm 10 metres out, basically, can you just watch the setup, make sure they're not second. If they're second, can you get a number? Things like that. So yeah, most teams probably do go off the top, but there are a few teams that back their drives and they'll try and maul it.
At the lower grades, definitely they drive more than coming straight off the top.
I think I've noticed a bit of a change there, Bob, is that a lot of teams now are gearing it up a lot more. Whereas I think 2 or 3 years ago, everything was off the top. It was just about the speed of the game. But because everyone's defence is pretty set now, and they're actually a lot better than they used to be, they've got to vary it up. So you don't want to be painting that same picture all the time. So there is teams are mixing it up a little bit more now.
Right. Within 10 metres of the try line. So Dan's challenged me on a position here that I hadn't done before. I'll see if anyone else here might have done it or might have used it. So within 10 metres of the try line, where would you not stand?
The front.
Attacking side.
The front attacking side?
Not going on the attacking side.
No,
So you wouldn't.
always stand on the defensive side.
Okay, so like here,
Yeah.
would you stand anywhere at the front, 10 metres out?
Going to be
Very
pretty
No,
hard.
so even if you don't have AR, think about Colts level. Would you stand at the front 10 metres out?
Very rarely.
This position shouldn't really matter whether you got ARs or not. It should be pretty.
Hard to see a try in this far corner if you're at the front.
Pretty much. So if it's a quick ball
It's going to be hard.
here, you're at the front, they score over here, and there's something dubious that's happened over there, you're going to have to be busting pretty fucking quick to get over there to see that. So yeah, they would not be standing at the front.
It's
In
better
each
to stand
case.
a little bit deeper in that situation too, so that if it does go short, you can then quickly get across where they're driving it, say at the front of the line or something, whereas if you're standing back either in line with...
Oh, so you're saying standing a bit like closer to the back of the line?
even stand more towards the goal line.
Like here?
Yeah.
Go even deeper than that again.
Okay.
Yeah. And that gives you the option, you can go forward or you can go across, whichever is...
Yeah, so I've never done that, and I can see the merits to it. So Dan challenged me to even stand here, which I haven't seen before, but maybe it's just because I haven't been looking for it. But Dan was saying, stand about in line with the sixth man in the line out on defence. Who can tell me a reason for possibly doing that? Apart from Dan.
What's the drive? What's the drive? They're going to drive forward.
So what was that? You watch the drive?
Watch the drive, but also you watch those attacking guys going in front of the ball catcher.
Okay, so you're from here. You can see obstruction from lifters.
Yeah.
Okay, and what else?
Well, you got the front cover,
You can, if they do a quick one to the front, you're there. Yeah.
And then you can just get out the back if they go wide.
If so if they go back off the top, you're pretty quick to get out.
Yeah.
Yep. When Dan was telling me this, I was thinking, I've never stood there, but thinking about it and the benefits of it, I actually think it's a bloody good spot to stand. One, yes, you can see if it's quick to the front, or if there's a front back to the hooker, you can see whether it's good or not, I guess, whether he's scored it, or whether you've got a better view of the touchline. Drive, they do a quick drive, and they basically score pretty quickly. You're there to see it right at your feet.
Also, if you have to verbalise, you've seen something, they can hear you from there as well.
Yeah.
And
So,
at
would
lower
you sort
levels,
of,
at
when
lower
that,
levels and at schoolboy level, you're also able to see because of everything, whether the ball goes at 5 metres or not.
yeah, you would have a better view of it from there than here. So the line out's starting to set up, Dan. Would you be there waiting while they're setting up, or would you sort of start around here and then move, finish there?
No, I just go there.
You just stand there and wait for them to form?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you not think you'd lose sight of the ball quite a bit?
No,
During the throw, or
Like, no, after the throw.
so say they're set up for a
throw's
drive?
been taken. Yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of that position, purely because, I mean, I've always been a fan of just, what's wrong with following the ball in? You're going to see it grounding, like if it's a maul going in.
Yep.
So, I mean, I've tried it before, and I've never felt comfortable.
Okay.
Never felt comfortable, but I've always been a fan of just following the ball in. You're going to see it grounding.
So when you did try it, what did you find?
I just
you
felt
didn't
players
like
were
about
getting in the way, and I wasn't getting a clear picture of what was happening to the ball.
it? Okay.
And I guess because one of my first coaches I ever had, where he was like, look, you can't see the ball,
You're
then
in the wrong spot.
then you're in the wrong spot. My personal opinion, and like I say, everyone's got their own, but my personal opinion is that you just lose, as soon as like the ball's taken,
Yep.
like you're not going to see whether there's you might see a knock on, but you're less likely to see a knock on because all you're doing is you've got like all these players in front of you if you're going to take up that position.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Dan this. I've got an idea in my head. If lineout's good, they start a drive, it's starting to form, where would you move to?
As soon as it starts to form,
Yep.
and I know which side it is, 'cause
Yep.
you can generally get it straight away. So as soon as it comes down, my next job is where's the
Yep.
ball? And we all know the game, you can generally sense where the ball is. So that's where you move. So from there, as soon as it's a maul and you know that it's a maul,
Yep.
and they're not going to go one of those quick sneaky ones and shoot down the side, that's where you just move to the back and move from there.
That's what. So you would, if more's set up and it's not moving really quickly, you'd sort of just come around at the end.
So that's this is a space that John really challenged me on last year because I was the same as you, Chelsea. I didn't feel comfortable being in this position, and John really like it was a focus for me for like 3 months non-stop. It was like really worrying you there, and now that it's natural to me, I don't actually lose sight of the ball. So it's like the turn and what we were practicing a couple of weeks ago. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not something you're going to feel comfortable about overnight either. It's going to take time. And to me, like, how good does it feel? Like for me, the first time someone done that and I was in that position and they drove and they went through the line and they scored at my feet and I was just like, shit, that was good. And that's exactly what John was trying to get me to do. There's those ones when the teams try and leave the line out and then the guy comes through and scores a try. That happened in one of my Clive games that I refereed, and because I was in that position, I could see that there was no one in front. It was the same guy that had the ball, he scored the try, and it's, I'm right there, make the mark.
So I guess it's almost being there in that position to see those 5-10%ers of things that could happen,
Yep.
where you wouldn't be able to see it if you were here or here. So you start there. If it happens, perfect. If it doesn't, then you just got to get back around to there, basically, don't you?
Yes, so once you know it's gone down, you just work your ass and get back to see the ball. Because all as it really is, it's probably 4 or 5 steps max, and you're back in view of the ball, and then you just follow the ball in from there. But to me, it's if they go fast or they make that little break or they go to the blind side, then if you're on this other side, you just can't physically get there, and you're not going to see it.
Yeah, I'll be giving it a go. It sounds logical to me. I've never used it, but it sounds good. We sort of covered junior grade where you'd stand? I don't know, have we?
Most of it's going to be at the front, isn't it?
Yeah.
More management and
Most of those sort of like E grade, F grade games. I mean, none of the hookers have got the ability to throw number 4, 6 anyway. So it's always going to go.
What are the main issues in those games for lineouts? Not straights. What else?
Sometimes creeping in, they get a
Closing the gap.
Closing the gap.
So I mean, both those issues at the front is the best place to try and resolve those issues. So it makes sense to come to the front.
Yeah, and just an experience when they're contesting for the ball. Some of them kind of lose sight that they're contesting for the ball, not the player who's actually jumping up against them.
Yeah. If we've got a good gap, it's so easy to see that stuff too. It's when you got the small gap that's Was that contest in the air, or was that actually playing to go in the air? Cool. Right, as a referee, just have a chat in your group, step it through from hooker's got the ball to ball's gone. What are you looking for as a ref? We'll start with the ref and then we'll go AR afterwards, which is slightly different because each ref might tell an AR what to look for, but we'll have a bit of a chat about it. So as a ref, ball's gone out, hooker's got the ball. What are you looking for?
Is the line out for me?
Let's have it as a big group. Okay, from the start, hooker's going to get the ball, he's got the ball. What are you guys looking for? First thing. Or something. The gap?
The gap.
Cool.
Who's in the line out and who's not?
Numbers?
Before the hooker even gets the ball, Rito,
Yo.
I'll ask a question. Who's the first person to the line out?
The ref.
There it is.
Always got to be the ref.
We should try and really work hard in that space to be, and that sets the presence there. So if we're first there making a mark, straight away that gives you credit. So that's one up on the players.
Yep. Nothing was better than the ref. Yep.
And we also said if it's like a quick line out or not. So if the ball's been touched by anyone else to determine if someone else can throw it in.
We had a rule on that. Yep.
Here's the line out.
Oh yeah,
Form,
when the
I suppose.
markers,
Or if you're tired and you just need a break.
No, we got enough. We got enough for you.
That's when you try and be first there and you're just like, yeah, no, line out was formed.
I'm waiting, boys, I'm waiting.
Cool. What else? So that's all pre-ball being thrown?
Yeah.
So-
And just the blocker, like the players, quite often they just don't actually know the rule that they can't block the 5 when someone's trying to do a quick throw as well, so making sure that they're out of the 5.
Yeah.
What's the ruling on that?
That's a free kick.
Throw it at them. Why they don't seem to.
Throw it at them.
They give us like a 5 and 5. On the 15.
The ref might not think of that, might run down
Brave man. Is it our responsibility to count numbers?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, no. I heard a yes, I heard a no.
I would. I'd say yeah. But
For yourself.
couldn't know whether it's on my responsibility, but I'm checking numbers coming in. As like I was saying before, who's in and who's out, I'm registering that quickly and how many's in and how many's out.
So every line out, you're looking at it, you're consciously thinking who's in, who's out?
No.
I'm not saying there's right or
No,
wrong.
I'm not. I'm saying I find the ones like when you go here and line out's here and you see defensive team's already there,
Yep.
then the attacking team comes and they'll hang out here,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing are all of those guys, 30 guys that are there, are they all going to the line out?
Yep.
Or is half of them going to go back? Because then I'm seeing how much time the other team has to react. But if I see a team and I get to the line out and then I just see them both just come in, or if I hear someone yell numbers, I might have a look, but otherwise, shit, no.
Sweet. On that one, you know how you're saying, so they've come halfway and
Yeah.
some go and then the rest come in.
Yeah.
What do you do there?
See, what would I like to do, or what would I do? What I'd like to do is I'd like to register pretty quickly and say, hey, no, that's not going to happen. You're either in or you're out. But it happens far too much. I just, if they do that and everyone comes, I'm happy with that and I'll play. If they show up and then half of them leave, I'm letting their defence have enough time to leave. So then if that guy comes in, if they've done that muck about and they've come through and then the hooker throws straight away, I'm saying, no. Depending on the situation, I'll bring it back, you know. But if they go and then the hooker's waiting and then the defence says, oh shit, we get out, I'll let them get out. And if they're not, you'd be lenient with that, I'd say.
Perfect.
I
was going to say, don't free kick them or ping them for not having time to adjust to numbers.
No, if you, and a lot of the time you'll see with them coming forward, and I'd mention that to the attacking team. Attacking team comes forward and they make the line out after they've done that muck about, and then as soon as they get there, they go numbers, and the ball hasn't even gone in. I'd hold that back. But I wouldn't ping it. I try not to ping that if it's that muck about. But it happens too much to not really.
The other option you've got is actually pinging them for leaving the line out, or free kicking
Yeah,
them for
but
leaving the
as I
line
said,
out.
that probably there's more so in Colts, probably because as Prem's that's more organised and they know, be call, we're going in this many people and this is happening versus Colts. It's just they get there and one guy says, oh, you leave. So I'm very lenient with that.
No, good. Yeah.
So, the other thing, let's say they've got five in the out, so 2 are in the line out, 3 are hanging back, right? And then they come up and you look and you go, oh, the halfback's already in the line out. I just go, they're having 5 in the line out, and I don't worry about the numbers, because I go, they don't have to have a halfback, but they're indicating that all 3 are going to come in. So they
Go, sorry.
So you've got 2 in the line out,
Yeah.
3 are hanging back.
About to go in, or just
but
hanging out?
it's 3 front rows, or here, the halfback's already in there, right? So you go, I don't know if those three, one of them's going to be a halfback or not.
Oh,
so
right.
they could have 4, they could have 5. If those 3 come in, but only 2 on the line and 1 hangs back, and they've then got caught with numbers, I forget, I just go, because you look like you're going to have 5. So I just go, play on.
On that, what's a key thing that has to happen for that attacking side to win the ball? If they've got a couple of guys coming in,
They must stop their feet.
they can't just come in and bang up. They have to actually stop and go.
Dan, what did you do with Lindisfarne yesterday? Because they were lining up, weren't they? Quite a way back from the line out.
It's all the high school kids are doing it at the moment, and it's a little bit with the younger kids and Premier stuff too. It's a bugbear of mine. How they just hang around. It's like, just get in the fucking line out and jump to the ball. Like, you have a word to them once, and you say, if I talk to you again about it, I'll just free kick you.
Yeah.
So, because to me, it's just wasting time. It's mucking around, and
So it's that them hanging 5-10 metres back and then coming in.
The coach is flawed.
Coming up with a
The
game
coach
plan before they get to the line out.
But let's not try and free kick them on the first one and just
No,
blow
not
the
the first
whistle
one.
and tell them, look,
I mean,
I need you in here.
They're pretty much
Because
been coached
you-
that way, so.
No, it's because they've got any line out course, so they give a hell of a number 2.
That was the plan with
Probably.
with the Lindisfarne one. They were practicing it before Dan went in. So Dan went in and had a word to them at that stage, saying, "Are you doing that?" And he said to them that if they complain about it, then you're going to have to do something about it. So.
Already have some plan bloody work.
It's just good to hear that you guys are managing it before ruling stuff. It's good.
Are you managing? How would you manage that situation differently in the red zone as opposed to midfield if they're doing that lingering forward? How would you? Do you think you just go for it if it's on their own line? Or do
No, you just, like, so they're going to attack.
Yeah. I'm saying they're attacking.
And they can't do that.
Yeah. I'm saying they're sorry. So the O's are holding back. They're holding back.
Oh, they're holding back?
Yeah, on their own line.
On their own line?
Because I find that a lot of time you get a quick turnover, goes out, that the X's they want to play.
Yeah.
I find that's when I'm seeing it all the time, is when the O's are coming in, and that's when they hold back, slow the game down. How are you dealing with that any differently than just some guy just walking up to a on the 50?
You got to give them time in that situation because they're only 5 metres out. So, but the space isn't there. They've got that 10 metres to sort of think about. So it's just on each situation in the game, like, and you'll get the read of it. You obviously just talked about it there, and you'll pinpoint on from what I do as well. So it's just the feel of the game. So that's where you brush law aside and you take what's best for the game or the feel of the game. If you feel they're taking the piss, then you have to do something about it. But just let them know, call time off and say, you do that again, you may not have the ball again, but if not, then just let it go. Right.
So you're saying if X's were throwing in that circumstance, X's were throwing in a...
No, I'm saying if O's are throwing in. So X's have bobbled it out and there's a quick turnover, and X's want to get the ball back quickly, and O's just...
They normally have all their 7 in their own, like, technically, if you're the defensive team on your own 5, you probably don't have all your players in anyway.
Just a point, counting numbers, do it in threes. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, just go 3, 3. Good point, don't count the ones.
Okay, we've done, so I guess it would be the main things before the ball has gone in. What are we looking for when the hooker's throwing balls in the air?
Before he throws, you haven't considered the backs, whether the backs are getting his back or not. Good. You should be looking at that.
2x2.
What was that one?
Hooker, opposite
Your
hooker.
opposing hooker.
And
They must have one.
start the throw is just keep an eye on the hooker as well for was it a walk?
Walk.
So,
Yep. Anything else?
I
Look
find
at
that, I
for
find
the
that's
ball?
happening a lot more. There's a lot more pressure around lineouts.
I have to see them way down the
Here's something for you that. What do you guys do? Defensive team screaming numbers at the same time the attacking team is screaming numbers.
Just ignore them.
Just play on. It's been going on since time immemorial.
To me, that's not our problem.
No.
That's not our issue. So
The attacking teams already know. Like you should already have your plans in. Right, we're in the between 10 metres out from goal line. We're doing this drive. We don't even need to yell it out when we've got the ball there. So really, they should know what they're doing.
I disagree with that.
You're right, though, they should.
Yeah.
If you're that predictable, then teams will know exactly what you're going to do when they're in the 22.
It's not super.
Just saying.
It's actually against the code.
Does anyone do anything different apart from ignoring or just letting it
Are
go?
you meaning the team that?
The defensive team is not throwing in,
It's
is
asking
screaming
how
out numbers, just like 7, 5, 9, while the other team's trying to
I thought you were talking about like saying, oh, no, it's
so, didn't make it clear.
No, it's been going on for time.
tell me what you mean.
Stop.
Shut up. I got you, Rito.
Yeah, it's unsportsmanship, and I've free kicked before. I've warned them the first time.
So what would you say in your warning?
Just that's unsportsmanship.
Yeah, it's against the code.
And I'll free kick.
Yeah, better say that'll be
Stu,
more
you're a bit
down
more to
line.
the point. Shut up. I haven't had it for a while, but I know I normally go, guys, when it's your ball, you can be cool. When it's not, be quiet.
So me, I have a little laugh about it, but it's just
Yeah.
sorry.
But the thing is, the attacking team gets frustrated. The hooker doesn't know what the call is. Then they start going, ref, he's not throwing it, and then it becomes your issue. Because you're like, okay, am I going to free kick for them not throwing in? Or am I going to free kick them or penalise them for just being dicks? I don't know. That's
Exactly.
I just think my point is manage it before you rule it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Before the ball's thrown? No? Right, as a ref, oh no, so we'll go back to AR. Before the ball's thrown, what would an AR be looking for or at?
Watch the ball. Watch the ball.
So the mark,
Watch the ball.
so I'm just going to put a circle by what the AR would be looking for.
Feet inside the field play.
Feet outside the field of play.
Yeah, they got to be outside.
Before they get to see who played the ball last, was it a spectator?
Who's throwing?
Yeah.
And where it will now.
Otherwise, it can't have a crisp throw.
Um,
That doesn't help.
shouldn't the ref be looking at that too?
Yep.
So who's throwing? Anything else for AR?
Yep, before the ball is put into a scrum or line out, know if it's inside or outside the 22.
I'd say the ref should be aware of that too.
Yeah. I had that one on the weekend. I wasn't aware.
What's your line?
No, I watched the video, he was way inside the 22. The AR was telling me that it was outside. I didn't know, so yeah, the ref should know.
Anything else for AR? Far AR?
Sides.
Yeah, back ones, yeah.
On the defensive team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done all that too.
Nah, just yeah.
I've been sleeping down attacking.
Is there any time when that would change, Tips? The defensive AR. What if that line out 5 metres out? and you know that the first 5, if O or the defending team's throwing it in, they're going to win it and possibly pass back to their first 5. You know, not all our grounds here have 22-metre dead balls. Would that be the time, even some Premier games, would that be a time where they're offside AR instead of being on the attacking team?
Whose ball are you saying it is?
Defending?
So it's O's ball.
O's ball.
I would still be here if you're the offside or the open side AR,
Yep.
because this guy's got all that covered.
Yeah.
And you only have to run to there, you got the ref, but the important bit is if they're onside or not, because if they're not onside and they're trying to clear, then it's a huge disadvantage for this team, so this is vital, and that will be done by that AR and the ref surely. If it gets swung out here, it's only a 10-metre run for us to get to the goal line. So
that's another benefit.
You've got
of standing in that position. Oh no, you wouldn't stand there if it was O's.
So your onside AR, your AR at the line out must be aware that their duty, they have an extra duty once that ball's gone in, that they have to keep it on, especially with shorter dead balls.
To get here.
To get there and make sure that
being aware of that blindside winger, whether he's behind or in line with the kicker.
So your offside AR in that situation there too, Groupie, his first job is obviously the 10 metres, and then after that he's really got to bust ass to try and get forward in line. So what he's trying to pick up is guys in front of the kicker if they kick it. And a lot of teams now, a lot of guys don't know this, but if I've got a kicker standing back on the 10-metre line, on the dead ball line, sorry, a lot of guys, chasers, will be standing at the try line. They're offside, and a lot of rugby players don't realise that, even at super level. So
the winger's like here, AD.
Is that a new ball?
Yeah.
No.
That's always not.
I heard you say that's one of the Lindisfarne boys on Sunday. Actually.
Yeah, so they're offside, so they need to stay. They need to actually be behind the kicker to chase the ball. So what happens there is they'll kick, and if it doesn't go out, and if the kicker doesn't chase, there's no one's onside. Everyone advances. Okay, it's an advantage for being in front of the kicker. So that's for that offside AR to then push up from there.
I've had a couple of those as well.
Even if you don't get all the way to the goal line or in line with them, you should be able to see, because the kicker will be back here, and if this guy's on the line, then the lines are easier to judge. Like, I was just thinking if the attack had the ball, you'd kind of be here, right? If you're the 10 metres is the goal line. But sometimes I don't stand on that line, because you can see all their feet along the line, and you can't see the people at the post anyway, because the goalpost bears in the way. So sometimes I kind of stand back here and let the play come in and run with it. But I think if it's the O's with the ball, then that's the important stuff. And then like Dan said.
Oh no.
Right.
Hit me like my dad.
I think that's pretty. Is that it? For ARs, looking at what the ARs looking at line out time.
I think one of the sort of things before the game I asked my ARs to look for is the players who are doing the lifting, if they're getting impeded. Because I genuinely say, don't worry about the knot straights in the ball, don't worry about that at all, but can you just watch that the player who's doing the lifting isn't getting taken out, sacked, not the player in the air, but this player. Because that happens quite a lot, and we can miss it, and we kind of, the ref doesn't see the player getting dragged out of the air, because they're not. It's really just their lifters getting taken out, and then they fall over, and it looks like they just did it themselves, or the lifter dropped them.
That's why Clint Newland's knocked out the Mayor Tialaba.
Yes, that's right. One hit.
And we should also do a quick throw.
Hey?
Quick throw. He's just...
Oh no, I got you. Yeah. So I guess that is I was going to say that's a personal preference for a ref. The ref might ask you as AR to look for that.
Out of curiosity, so because Hugh did on the weekend as well, about not having your touchies call, or ARs or other calling not straight.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is that just because there's better things to look at? Or is it just because...
I think we're definitely trying to let the not straights go if that has no impact.
Okay.
And if it's easy as AR if you're focusing on the not straight when it's slightly not straight to call not straight.
For sure.
Whereas we kind of probably would let that go a lot of the time. But that's just my honest reason why.
For me, it's a big management you're managing the situation, and I think it's fairer if you're consistent as a referee to manage that situation, because you've got your own personal, I guess, yes and no, is it not straight or straight? And I think it's better as us, as referees, to probably take ownership of that and make that call.
We should be able to see it. So, like, if we're in one of those positions we talked about before, either straight at the back, just to the side, or at the front to the side. If you can't see not straight as the ref, then what are you watching?
And the other thing too is if you get on there, because it's a stable, everything's quiet, you got spectators standing right there, and you call it, and then they go, oh, nothing's happened, and then they're filthy. So you're better off not saying anything.
Or every single fucking line out, the sideline's not straight, you feel that pressure one time and you call it through.
And Dan goes, no, I'm happy with that, and he's gone.
Just turn around and tell them that, oh, Rick called that. Tell them to send me after.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So they told me to come talk to you.
That's why I'm back my speed.
I reckon it's good if you're the AR to just, if the ref doesn't say anything to ask them, like, do you want me to look at anything today? Because sometimes I know I've been in maybe I turn up just a bit late to the game, the teams haven't been ready, and everything's like time-wise quite slow. Maybe the AR's ref the first game and it's gone long and there's only 5 minutes before kick-off, and then you can kind of maybe miss some of that stuff, but like that little stuff can be quite important for a game, because you're not just there to put your flag up, like if you're doing prems, then definitely not. So ask if the ref doesn't say, because they might have, I don't know, just forgot, or there isn't much time.
So something for me, for ARs, I'll always ask sort of 10 metres towards the try line and 10 metres out, I always ask, can you watch the setup of the maul on your side? Watch the setup, watch for sacking numbers. If you can see a person deliberately sacking it, can you grab a number for me? It's something I'll generally say as I'm going to that line out, 10 metres out, can you just watch the setup at the front here? Like that.
Well, talking about not straight, somebody said to me on the weekend, a defensive team doesn't put a player up, doesn't jump against it. You can throw it as crooked as you like.
Not number 9.
So, I've still called not straights this year when the other team hasn't thrown. It's those blatant ones where it's like, holy shit. Not straight.
If you know, somebody tried to tell me on the weekend.
They're slightly confused.
Buff, I had a classic example, and I think where that's come from is the Premier, mainly with Premier referees. We had a meeting with the Premier coaches, and we said we're letting it go a little bit.
More leniency.
More leniency, that if you don't contest for the ball and if the middle's here and it's here, we're going to play on. And I had a classic example on Saturday where Tony Lambourne had to throw in the ball because the hooker was in the bin, and the line out was down the middle here, and he caught it out here, and I blew not straight, and he looked at me and he goes, fuck, no one contested. And then the prop was in my face, and he was like, I was setting up the scrum, but he said to me, he was like, but Tipene told us, if you don't contest, it doesn't matter how straight it is, it's sweet.
So the contesting part of it, if they don't contest it, slightly not straight, then we're playing on. But slightly off, like what would probably other years call not straight.
But he's reaching out the line out.
Yeah.
But if it's out there,
so that
I did not say that.
He threw it to his halfback pretty much.
Well, obviously it's got out to the clubs, because it came up in a game that I watched on Saturday as well, and he said, if they don't contest, you're not going to rule not straight.
They listen to that, but they don't listen to the mouth guard one.
Or the crawling.
Somehow or other, the clubs are getting the idea that that's going to be how it's doing.
They don't listen.
And they're actually asking you prior to the game. So some of the clubs are actually seeking that clarification.
Yeah.
So my
You're throwing the ball in here?
Nah.
Is that next?
Yeah, now we have. Yep. Barker's is going for it. It's good, eh? It's good out, shit. Okay, anything else that we're looking at? I know for me, one of the main ones is probably that contact in the air. Are they going for the ball, or have they grabbed the arm and pulled it or pushed? And if you have a decent gap, it's pretty easy to see, I reckon. And the other one that happens quite a lot, I see in Super Rugby, is a jumper will jump, get lifted, and they'll end up landing pretty much in the line of the opposition team. That's something that I haven't noticed too much in the club rugby around here, but it's something probably needs to be a little bit aware of, and if it's having an impact on the attacking team. Anything else?
You don't want your AR reporting foul play or anything like that. That's your call.
Yeah, so had that in the weekend. Contact in the air, I guess. Jowsey did call it through, and I did say to the game, I said, look, call stuff through that you've seen, even if it's just confirmation to me, just to give me more confidence, I guess, in what I have seen is correct. And I thought it was bloody good. So he gave me a contact in the air, and I had it as well. And then it was just like, yeah, fuck, we've both seen the same picture, so bang, advantage. And then he ended up collapsing them all, so it was a yellow card for him.
Didn't notice it was a yellow card. I wasn't going to touch him.
But yeah, I can see what you mean around foul play, but I think it's up to the ref at the end of the day. If he's asked or not asked for it, then yeah.
Well, about this is just a quick thing. E and F grade and that kind of stuff. A lot of the time, probably a couple of years ago that was pretty much all that I was always doing Karamu games. And you find a lot of teams, and it's just lifters, pretty much only just started lifting. He throws him up, that lot realises he's up shit creek without a paddle, and he's coming down, and he doesn't mean to tackle this guy in the air, but he's just grabbing onto anything. I saw that way too much. And I'm sitting there thinking, I kind of, the thing is like, you're ripping to the sideline at that, and how I dealt with it was very much just penalty, I'm sorry, but you did do this, and they'll be like, I didn't mean to, just go away. But you got nothing else to do because I found that I didn't know how to deal with that because he hasn't meant that at all. He's just come down at a rate of knots.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I would do if that was happening.
Exactly, that's what I didn't know what to do.
You'd almost have to call time off and have a chat with the team who's doing it and say, look, this is dangerous for not only you but the opposition team. If this happens again, it's going to be more than a penalty. Basically, you hold on to your player in the air, don't you?
Yeah, and you're calling that. Okay. Because it was a big thing. It was like the whole sideline sees this picture painted beautifully of this guy just dragging him down, and you're thinking, seen what's happening.
That's a massive safety issue.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was go to the coaches. Right, sort your job out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just think, me personally, as a referee in lineouts, it's a key area, and if we can own that space as a referee, it makes it a whole lot easier for yourself. And when you have ARs, it doesn't put as much pressure on them. So I think, if you're lucky enough to get an AR, so as a referee, if you really own that space and be confident in that space, then it goes through the game as well. So just really own that space if it's somewhere where you think you're struggling, and get amongst someone that's pretty confident in that space to help you out with that.
Right, we'll go over lineouts more quickly. What are we looking for when a maul is being set up?
With the ballers.
Where the ball is?
Was the ball being played back, or was the player dropping back?
So sliding versus passing the ball back? Yep.
Contest from the other team. Because that's a big thing they always scream out. What's that? When they don't...
So no contest versus contest?
Obstructs and everything.
So on that, what does the defensive team need to do? If they don't want to contest the maul, what is their only option, really?
They can't go back, is that right?
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What they call it's opening the curtain, they say. That's the only real option.
Is that right? You can go side to side.
So if this is the line out here, basically these guys here will go that way. These guys will go that way. And it opens up a gap, and it has happened.
I had that.
Guy here will get it. He'll go, fuck, no one's there, turn around, score a try. It's just like,
So it's got to be feedback, doesn't it? It's got to have that feedback and the staying bound.
No. In that scenario, that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. To penalise, rather. To penalise that. You're not penalising it unless they're feeding back and staying bound. Correct? I think I've said that.
Right. Feed it back and move forward.
And move forward.
If they feed it back, you go use it.
And
if they get rid of it, it's fine. If they keep it at the front and start moving forward, fine. It's only if they pass the ball back and start moving forward, they haven't committed, that's obstruction.
It's a scrum.
It is.
Not a penalty.
Has it always been?
It was a penalty, they changed it because
it's
they
negative
got rid of
play
the
for this
tackle.
team.
Right, okay. Because I haven't seen that. That's probably why. Is that a new law, Fish?
Last 2 years.
Yeah, because I didn't see it last year, I didn't see it at all this year.
I had that. Clive told me before the game, we're not going to contest at the line out. I said, sweet, just open the curtain. They opened the curtain, the guy went, what the? And he started crying.
Not a guy.
So no one's really doing it anymore.
No,
Yeah.
But if they try, I had Tamatea try it 2 weeks ago, and I screwed it up. Originally, I thought they did just move across, but there were a couple of players that moved back, like in beta. But you don't see it too often.
So what's the point? Them just coming backwards and following them back?
Because you're
Not allowed to leave the line.
they basically just changed the rules because it was negative play to
Yeah.
do something stupid that's
Oh,
just
so they
dumb.
don't
Just
So what
another-
they've said is, if you move off, if Groovy's the line of where the rest of my team's here, if I move this way and let them come here, but I've moved off the line, then I'm offside because I've left the line out before the line out's ended. So now you're penalising the defensive team for a stupid tactic rather than penalising for an obstruction, truck and trail, or whatever. Just to get rid of the negative play, because that's all it is.
It was basically, they've called it, it's accidental,
Yeah.
and it's scrum.
I wonder where it disappeared to. Okay. Good call.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. Following the ball, the slip. So, transfer a ball.
These attacking dudes.
D,
What they can do.
line, leaving. Or line out, D, defensive line out.
Yeah.
What else?
Peeling off when the ball's gone. What do you mean?
Yeah, just what are we looking for?
Pillars of blocks.
Huh?
Pillars blocking.
So the attacking pillars?
Yeah.
There needs to be a direct line of access to the jumper once they bring the ball down, that they can actually make contact with them.
Does everyone know what we mean by that? Attacking pillars blocking? Yeah, basically.
You got the ball.
So John's getting lifted and we're going this way. So we lift as we come down, we just go bang and come into this position. Okay. So it has to, it's hips basically. Our hips need to be in line with his hips. If the hips are in front, then we're obstructing.
Defensive entry.
Defensive entry. One of the big ones I notice on this is quite often the setup's fine and there's always a bit of movement and stuff like that, and guys end up, they call it swimming around the side. That's something I find is one of the main things with that, and intentionally collapsing are probably the two main ones the defensive team I find try to do. That swimming around, you can manage it, 2 out, 4 out, they generally listen, they get out and they come back around. But
So what's that swimming? That swimming is when you bind properly, but then you just change your bind
they
all the way
basically,
out.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
No, we just call entry rather than talk about swimming.
Yeah, that teaches the jargon, eh, teachers?
And do this section.
Oh, you're calling again, mate.
Oh, no, this is swimming.
You can't say breaststroke.
And then the back line as well.
Excellent. One more rest.
Back line. Back line. So what do you mean by that?
So like if they're creeping forward before the line out's been finished? Like
Yeah.
finished?
So how can we manage that, Brent?
Hold them.
What do you mean, hold them? Hand up, hold, wait.
Hold or call it.
Yeah.
Just
A lot of teams are going to get a hold now. They're using it as a hold. I wouldn't like to address that because
take a proactive approach to it.
Yep.
Do you do that every line out, would you? Would you chuck your hands up?
Depends on the circumstance, to be fair.
Yeah.
If it's a defensive,
So I used to, but I do it.
Would you see it over? Because, okay. Okay.
Would
if
you
it's open
answer
play,
someone?
and it's
If someone asked, I'll always go, like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. But I find a lot of the time I don't want to just stand there still like a pillar, and then I haven't put the onus on them.
yeah.
That's not fine.
I've had backlines ask me, can you
Yeah,
can you
yeah,
let
yeah,
us
yeah.
know? And I'm just like, no. You guys know when it's over, and I'll call it if you get it wrong. But yeah, he's right. Stu's right. They're trying to put that pressure on you as the ref, and it just gives you one more thing to worry about. That where your focus should be more here than out there. Put it on them. If they get it wrong, they get it wrong.
First five to control it.
Just that early second, make sure it's early enough.
So early sacking. What are some key things for that to be successful for the defensive team? How can you sack a team?
Immediately.
Immediately?
At the ground.
So they have to have touched the ground?
Yeah.
What else? The ball carrier. Okay, it has to be the ball carrier. They can't grab the lifter and sack him. It has to be the guy with the ball. That's pretty good. Any other key points you think we need to talk about for Maul? One thing I'd say is if the Maul is moving sideways, it's not going forward, would you call that's one, or would you leave that? Leave it? Who would call it if they haven't gone forward at all?
The book says today, against the law.
What's against the law?
Going sideways. Since she's going sideways, please blow it.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's got to be
The ball
moving
goes
forward.
sideways, you've got to go.
Oh,
See, I would say that could be tactical to go nearer to the goalpost for me. So I personally leave that, but by law, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And quite often they still have momentum and they just sort of straighten up.
Yeah, exactly.
If it looks like they're moving, then
Let it
it's
breathe.
okay, like,
Let it breathe.
Yeah.
See what happens.
It's got to go towards the
Yeah.
it's fine.
So, Teeps wrote up a good wee question to end. When does a line out end?
When the ball leaves line.
When the ball leaves the line out? When does the ball leave the line out?
Line of touch.
What's the line of touch?
Middle line.
When the flag, when
The
the
ball goes to the
flag
5 and it comes off the top.
The ball
when the
leaves
flag
the
comes
line,
in for
leaves the
15. There's 6 of them.
when the flag
Right.
carrying leaves the
So
line out,
Stu
it
said
goes
there's
into
6 of them.
Bust them out.
All over 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the 5.
All in 5.
Ball.
OT.
Carrying it, you
Like when you pass the centre line in the mall, the last feet of the mall?
Last feet.
Yes, of either side.
Either
Can we go over this in a plane tonight?
side.
Well, let's get the sixth one.
No, I was quick definition, eh?
Leave middle line. That's 4 off. Sorry, yeah, that's 4.
What do we got?
Ball over the 15. Ball in the 5. Ball just OT, leaving the line. Last feet of either side leave the middle line from a maul.
The person receiving the ball passes it to anybody,
What's that?
hands the ball on, so the ball.
That's 18.
Is there a
Oh, that's
No,
over
you
the
can
top.
bring it
That's
down.
Pass it to someone in the
As
line.
soon as you pass the ball receiver, passing the ball to anybody else, whether they've gone off the line or not.
I reckon Stu's putting
Really?
I'm sure there's
So if you give a sideways pass to somebody else in the line out, it's done.
No, I'm sure it was.
And
Didn't know
the
that.
fifth from the front becomes unplayable.
What becomes unplayable or foul play? That's 6. There you go. Anything else?
Nah, it looks pretty good to me. Any other questions about line outs that anyone's curious about? Doesn't think you've answered. Sweet, done.